In a quiet corner of Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood, where tree canopies cast a cozy shade and charming small shops beckon, lives a young woman named Emma. She is 28 years old, and outwardly, her life seems idyllic: a loving husband, a comfortable apartment, and a stable job at a bookstore. However, beneath this picture of well-being lies a deep sadness. Every morning, Emma wakes up with a heavy feeling weighing on her heart. A year ago, she made a decision that now seems like a fatal mistake. She married Leo, a 32-year-old man who radiates kindness and tenderness. Leo is the epitome of courtesy. His face almost always lit up with a smile. But alas, Emma doesn't love him. This marriage wasn't a union of hearts, but rather a consequence of emotional pain and despair. In an attempt to forget her ex-boyfriend, Alex, who had caused her unbearable pain, Emma rashly accepted Leo's proposal. She thought that marriage would be a lifesaver, helping her move on. She naively believed that love might grow over time, but it never did. Now she feels like the primary victim of her own haste. Leo surrounds Emma with care and attention, striving to make her happy. Every Friday, he brings her a bouquet of flowers, cooks dinner after her tiring workday, leaves touching notes in her bag, and tenderly calls her his sunshine, showering her with kisses on the forehead. Many women would consider themselves lucky to have such a devoted husband. But Emma cannot reciprocate his feelings, and this causes her unbearable pain. One evening, sitting on the balcony under the twinkling stars, Leo said, "Emma, I understand you don't love me yet, but I believe it will happen. I am willing to wait. My love is enough for both of us." These words made Emma fight back tears. Leo was full of hope, while there was no trace of it left in her heart. She felt like a hypocrite, forced to smile when she wanted to cry, to say thank you without feeling gratitude, and to live a life that wasn't hers. Emma's mother once told her, "Love can blossom over time. Marriage isn't just about passion, it's also about kindness, respect, and patience." Emma tried to believe these words, tried to be patient, but with each passing day, she felt increasingly like a stranger in her own life. One Friday evening, Leo prepared a special dinner for Emma. He delighted her with her favorite dish, chicken pasta with garlic bread, lit candles, put on soft music, and even wore his favorite blue shirt. "This is all for you, Emma," he said. "You are my world." Emma forced a faint smile and thanked him, but deep inside she felt only emptiness. She couldn't enjoy the food or the music, feeling like an actress playing a role rather than living her true life. After dinner, Leo suggested a walk. They headed to a small park located near their home. It was there, under the shade of an old oak tree, that Leo had proposed to Emma a year ago. He smiled and reminded her, "Remember this place? I promise to love you forever." Emma looked at the tree, then at Leo, and desperately wanted to scream, "I don't love you!" But she remained silent, not wanting to hurt him. Leo looked so happy and full of love, while Emma felt worthless. That night, Emma didn't close her eyes, staring at the ceiling for hours. She reflected on her life, her decisions, and her broken heart. "Will I ever feel happy again?" she asked herself. The next morning, her best friend Naya called and asked worriedly, "Emma, your voice sounds so tired. Is everything okay?" Emma wanted to answer affirmatively, but couldn't lie. "I don't love Leo," she confessed softly. "I married him to forget someone else, and now I feel trapped. I'm so sad." Naya paused, then suggested, "Maybe you need some time alone? Perhaps a separation would help you sort out your feelings?" Emma shook her head. "It's not about time, Naya. My heart simply isn't in it." Later that day, Emma tried to talk to Leo. "Leo, I need to speak with you," she began, but he interrupted her. "I know what you want to say. Please, don't give up. I still believe we can fix everything." Hope rekindled in his eyes, making Emma feel even worse. She didn't want to crush his dreams, but knew she couldn't give him what he needed. She felt utterly exhausted. as if carrying an unbearable burden every single day. One Sunday, Leo surprised Emma with a question she was completely unprepared for. "Emma, do you want to have a child? I think it would bring us closer." Emma froze, stunned. The thought of having a child with a man she didn't love filled her with horror. She lowered her eyes and whispered, "I'm not ready, Leo." He nodded slowly, trying to hide his disappointment, and Emma felt even worse. He was always so understanding and kind, while she remained silent and distant. That night, Emma wrote in her diary, "I feel like I am drowning in this marriage. Leo is a wonderful person, but I can be the wife he deserves." She also wrote, "Sometimes I want to run away, but I am scared. What will people say? Will they call me selfish? Will they blame me for not trying hard enough? Were my efforts not enough?" This question echoed in her mind. One evening, under the cloak of silence, she packed a modest bag, intending to leave their familiar home. Glancing at the sleeping Leo, she noted his serene expression, as if a seal of happiness rested upon him. Frozen at the threshold with the bag in her hands, she found herself unable to go through with it. Setting the bag down, she succumbed to silent sobs. The next morning, Leo, as if sensing a storm, made her coffee. A light kiss on her cheek and the words, "Good morning, my love. I believe in us," once again shattered her heart. She wanted to scream, begging him to stop hoping, but the words caught in her throat. Walking to the window, she watched the bustling street, a dog running, children laughing, the bright sun. The world continued its motion, while her inner world remained frozen. She didn't know how to get her life back on track, realizing only one thing: she couldn't live in this state forever. Days dragged on endlessly. Each morning began with the usual routine, making breakfast, working at the bookstore, returning home, and offering Leo a forced smile. But inside, a weariness grew from the constant charade, from the need to pretend. One Saturday, Leo returned home earlier than usual, holding 2 movie tickets. "Emma, let's go out tonight, just you and me. I want to see you smile again," he said, with hope in his voice. She merely nodded in response, unwilling to say no. That evening, she put on her best dress and applied lipstick. Outwardly, she looked happy, but inside, emptiness reigned. At the movie theater, Leo gently held her hand, genuinely laughing at the funny parts of the film. He kept glancing at her, hoping to see a spark of joy on her face. She tried her best to smile, but her smile felt fake. After the movie, he enthusiastically asked, "That was fun, right?" She replied, "Yes, it was nice, but deep down, she felt only coldness." Upon returning home, Leo made them tea. They settled on the couch and he hugged her, whispering, "I missed you, Emma." She looked away, unable to respond. A sense of guilt tormented her, knowing she was hurting him every day with her silence. The next morning, she went to see her friend Naya. They settled at a lakeside cafe where the overcast sky and cold wind created a somber atmosphere. Naya looked at her with concern and said, "Emma, you look terrible. You look exhausted." Emma took a deep breath and once again shared her feelings. "Naya, I feel trapped in a cage with no way out. I want to leave, but I'm scared." "Leo is a good person. Everyone will hate me if I hurt him." Naya took her hand and said, "No one can live your life for you. If you're unhappy, you have to be honest. Leo deserves the truth, and so do you." Naya, his words touched her heart, but couldn't dispel her fear. What if she hurt Leo too much? What if she regretted her decision? That night, sitting by the window, she watched the quiet street, illuminated by lights from other houses. She wondered if the people living in those homes were happy. Did they pretend just like she did? Leo approached and sat beside her, looking at her with tenderness in his eyes. "Emma, you've been so quiet lately. I feel like I'm losing you," he said sadly. She wanted to tell him the truth but couldn't. Instead, she said, "I'm just tired. Work has been busy." He didn't respond, just nodded, and she saw the sadness in his eyes. The following week, Leo suggested a short trip. Let's go to Lake Geneva for the weekend. Just you and me. Maybe some fresh air will help. She didn't want to go, but agreed again, not wanting to hurt him. After a 2-hour drive, they arrived at the picturesque lake, surrounded by green trees and a blue sky. The beauty of nature did not touch her heart. Leo had booked a small lakeside hotel. In the evening, they strolled along the shore, where he took photos and laughed. He took her hand and asked, "It's beautiful here, isn't it?" She didn't know how to answer. Her heart remained silent. She felt as though she was walking in a dream that wasn't hers. That night at the hotel, Leo handed her a small box. Opening it, she saw a necklace with a tiny heart. "This is for you. My heart belongs to you," he said lovingly. Looking at the necklace, she felt tears well up in her eyes, not from happiness, but from the realization that she didn't deserve his love. "Thank you," she said in a quiet voice. Later, after he had fallen asleep, she sat on the floor beside the bed. She didn't want to cry aloud, just sat and reflected. She remembered the day they met, remembered how kind Leo had been to her after Alex left. He supported her, listened to her, and brought back her smile, but she had never loved him. She married Leo because she was broken, her mind clouded. She thought being with a good person was better than being alone, but now she understood that living without love was even worse. Upon returning to Chicago, she started writing letters to herself, showing them to no one. She simply poured her feelings onto paper. One letter read, "Emma, you are not a bad person. You made a mistake, but not out of hatred. You wanted to feel better, but now you must gather the courage to find your truth." Another letter stated, "Leo is not your enemy. He is a good man, but he is not your home. You cannot give him what he needs." These letters helped her understand herself, see her pain, and realize it was time to act. The burden of her own suffering weighed heavily on her shoulders. A few days later, Naya called, noticing a change in Emma's voice. "You sound stronger." In response, Emma shared her decision to tell Leo the truth, believing he deserved to know. Naya expressed her support and pride in Emma's courage. That evening, after brewing a cup of tea, Emma invited Leo for a serious talk. With trembling hands, she said, "I need to tell you something." Leo looked at her intently, preparing to hear the truth. Emma took a deep breath and began, "Leo, you are dear to me. You are a wonderful person, but I don't love you. I never have. I married you because I was broken. I hoped love would come with time, but it didn't." Leo remained silent, motionless. His face showed composure, but his eyes welled up. He quietly said, "I knew it, Emma. I saw it in your eyes. I just didn't want to admit it." Tears streamed down Emma's cheeks. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I never wanted to hurt you." Leo simply nodded. "I love you, Emma, very much, but I can't be the only one trying. If your heart is in here, I can hold you." These words broke Emma. Even in that moment of revelation, even as she hurt him, he remained kind and understanding. A long silence hung in the air. No accusations, no shouting, just an all-consuming sadness. That night, Emma found refuge on the sofa. Staring at the wall, she whispered, "I told the truth. I finally told the truth." The uncertainty of the future was frightening, but at the same time, she felt a sense of relief. For the first time in a long while, she could breathe easier. The following days passed in silence. Emma and Leo continued to live in the same apartment, but avoided conversation. Both needed time to process what had happened. Emma slept in the small guest room, while Leo remained alone in their bedroom. In the mornings, Leo still made coffee and left a cup on the kitchen table for Emma. But now there were no notes, no smiles, just silence. Emma went to work trying to distract herself. She helped customers at the bookstore, arranged books, wiped shelves, and answered questions. But her heart wasn't in her work. Her thoughts constantly returned to the future. One day, Naya came to visit Emma at the store. Hugging her, she asked, "How are you?" "I'm okay," Emma replied. "It's hard, but I feel more honest now." Naya smiled. "That's a good start. What are you planning to do next?" "I think I need to move out," Emma said quietly. "It's time." That evening, Emma told Leo about her decision to move out. He didn't seem surprised. He asked, "Do you have somewhere to go?" "Yes," Emma replied. "Naya offered me her guest room for now." Leo nodded and, after a pause, said, "Emma, I'm not angry. I'm just sad, but maybe this is for the best." Tears welled up in Emma's eyes. "I never wanted to break your heart," she whispered. Leo smiled faintly. "You didn't break my heart, Emma. I gave it to you willingly, even if you couldn't hold on to it. I don't regret loving you." His words were full of kindness, but they still made Emma's heart ache. The next morning, Emma packed her belongings and a few books. She only took the essentials. The apartment seemed filled with memories, even though they had only lived there for a year. Emma looked around at the familiar items, his coffee mug, their wedding photo, the blanket under which they watched movies. Leo helped carry her bag to the door. He said, "If you need anything, call me." Emma nodded. "Thank you for everything, Leo. You've always been kind to me." He looked at her one last time and said, "Take care, Emma." Then Emma walked out of the apartment. Naya was waiting in her car. She smiled and opened the door. "Let's go," she said. Emma got in beside her, and they drove away. She didn't look back. In Naya's guest room, Emma couldn't hold back tears, not from longing for Leo, but from the overwhelming mix of emotions, guilt, sadness, fear, and also hope. For the first time, she had made a choice based on her own interests. She had told the truth. She had taken a step forward. Days passed slowly. Emma stayed with Naya for several weeks. She helped with chores, washed dishes, and sometimes watched movies with her. Naya didn't push for conversations, but was always there when Emma needed to talk. Emma started taking long walks by the lake, watching people walk their dogs, ride bikes, and drink coffee on benches. She enjoyed observing the flow of life. It helped her find peace. One day, Emma walked into a small cafe and saw an advertisement for creative writing classes at the community center. Something inside her whispered, "Try it." And so, she signed up. The group was small, only 8 people. They wrote stories and read them aloud. At first, Emma was shy, but gradually, she began to enjoy the process. She wrote about her feelings, her past, and her hopes. One evening after class, she wrote in her notebook, "I lost love before I could find it, but now I am finding myself." This sentence brought a smile to her face. A few weeks later, Emma received a message from Leo. "Hi, Emma, just wanted to check in and see how you are doing. I am trying to keep my spirits up too. I signed up for cooking classes. It helps me take my mind off things." "You don't have to reply, just wanted you to know I'm okay." Emma looked at the message for a while, then replied, "Hi, Leo, thanks for checking in. Glad to hear you are doing well. I am taking writing classes, that helps me too. I wish you peace and happiness." After that, they didn't communicate further, but it was nice to say goodbye on good terms. As time went on, Emma settled into a cozy, albeit modest, studio apartment near the bookstore. This humble dwelling became her personal sanctuary. The walls, painted a cheerful light yellow, and the flowers on the windowsill created an atmosphere of warmth and comfort. Each morning began with aromatic coffee, which she drank while watching life outside her window. Moments of solitude were replaced by a sense of freedom and independence. Memories of Leo lingered, and she sincerely hoped he would meet someone who could truly appreciate his generous heart and give him reciprocal love. One day, while tidying her belongings, she came across the heart-shaped necklace, a gift from Leo. She looked at it for a long time before placing it in a small box. In an accompanying note, she expressed gratitude for his kindness, admitting that she couldn't wear the piece but would never forget him. The box was given to Naya to return to Leo. Seasons changed, bringing shifts to her life as well. Gradually, a smile appeared more frequently on her face. New acquaintances from the writing classes brought the joy of connection and laughter. She felt like she was returning to her true self. One day, looking in the mirror, she saw the reflection of a woman with tired eyes but a soft, kind smile. A woman who had gone through a period of confusion but was now confidently forging her own path. She whispered words to herself, full of awareness and hope. This isn't a perfect story, but it's my story. I am still learning and growing. I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing. You should never marry for the wrong reason. You should never betray your own heart. Addressing those who are experiencing similar feelings, she says, "You are not alone. Mistakes are okay. Starting over is okay. Be honest with yourself. Be brave. Your heart knows the truth." In conclusion, she thanks for the attention to her story, emphasizing that while it may not contain many joyous moments, it is sincere and real. And in our time, being real is the bravest thing we can allow ourselves.